check 7 times and make sure this is on vibrate, because that's the way things work. All right, well, it is time finally for another rally summary video. We spent a couple of months waiting for the 2026 season to really start up with the first event, Sno Drift. After going 0 for 4 last year between mechanical issues and crashes, we were excited to get out there and actually at least finish a rally no matter how slow I had to drive to achieve this. Complicating our attempts at this is the fact that this was going to be my first winter rally ever. In fact, this is actually the first time I've driven a rally car on snow at all. Everything else I've been driving on snow lately has been the Taurus, the Volvo, you know, something with all-wheel drive and 4 snow tires at sane speeds. To complicate matters, Sno Drift is one of the very few rallies, if not the only rally, where the state doesn't legally allow you to run studs. So you have to basically do a winter rally without studded tires, which adds an extra level of difficulty. With studs, you have practically the traction of gravel, maybe not quite that much, but certainly more than you have without. And conditions are essential to how fast this rally goes. Some years the average speed is 40 miles an hour, and some years it's 60. It all depends on how the roads are. Last year was proper snow drift. The year before that, there was an early thaw and they had a mud drift instead. But going into it, the weather forecast looked like we were going to have a proper snow drift. We had a pretty decent base, pretty high banks, and cold temperatures forecast for the weekends. So because this is my first winter rally driving, Phil's co-driven a few, but that's not as critical as actually putting your hands on the wheel. In terms of differences from snow and gravel. This was absolutely essential to get up there early enough to do testing, and we were not the only ones who needed to do testing. One of our teammates for the weekend was GoPro CEO and founder Nick Woodman, who was doing his first rally ever on ice. There are some advantages to this. Just because we expect the speeds to be slower, you can react a little slower and get away with things. But there's some things you just can't get away with on ice that you can get away with on gravel. So we managed to get a private testing road, which was nice because that meant that there were only 4 of us going up and down it. So we got lots of runs in that day. Unfortunately, there was some sort of problem with the SD card on the camera, and it kept resetting itself and trying to repair the file, and we got 0 footage from inside the car. We found the snowbanks pretty early on, but at least our first contact with the snowbank we got away with and we were able to pull out. We were not the first to need a tow, but of course, eventually during testing, I found the limits of the car and exceeded them a bit, and of course we needed to get towed out a couple of times. Turns out that I was reasonably consistent. I hit the snowbank in the same place twice, just a few feet apart, and hit it in a different place, just a few feet apart. And then I had a random 5th one somewhere in there, so. But at least I tried to get that onto my system so that I wouldn't do it on race day. Phil's out here getting a couple of parts of the windshield so that we can get the sticker on the car. The car is otherwise set up for rally. For recce. The last car I bought was almost a Subaru, but I didn't want to sign the part of the contract that required you to say it's Subi weather every time it begins snowing for the first time that season. Meanwhile, we over here laughing in Volvo because half of Sweden's landmass is north of the Arctic Circle. Whee! It's going to be snowing probably all throughout recce, I imagine. This is the first event Phil and I are doing where we actually have to write all of our notes ourselves because there are 0 Jembas. You excited?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess that's why we took that class.
Oh shit, did we take it just in time. So this is going to be a longish day. We've got 8 hours to get almost everything done. We have a few hours tomorrow morning where we're allowed to recce Saturday stages, but we have to be absolutely done with Friday today. So this is probably the first time we've actually been in the car at the legit start of recce, to be honest. Sno Drift is a fairly compact rally. All of the stages are basically within Montmorency County in the Lower Peninsula, which is prime cherry real estate, actually. The whole county is named after the French version of tart cherries that they harvest every year. Atlanta, by the way, is also known as the elk capital of Michigan. They hunted the local elk to extinction and then managed to reintroduce them in the early part of the 20th or later part of the 19th century, much as Pennsylvania did. And I had a little bit of anxiety about that, but mostly it just gives me an excuse to recycle the footage of me plowing the elk. I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of that. Recce was interesting. There was a hill where somebody was trying to recce in a Camry, and they had proper snow tires on that thing. I could see the tread. They were real snow tires, and they couldn't get up the hill. There was a truck a couple places behind us that actually had to tow him up. We thought we were going to have to help tow, and then turns out that one of the cars behind us was actually a truck, and we figured that was the car that was probably best suited to haul the Camry up to the top of the hill. I am not normally an anxious person, but that was the sort of thing that I did develop a little bit of anxiety about that, because I could only imagine getting onto the course and not being able to get up that hill. My only saving grace was that there were a couple of L2 Fiestas that were ahead of us in the start order, and I figured if they could get up, I could get up. That may be too much confidence. But then I started wondering what would happen if none of us could get up. That'd be a hell of a thing, wouldn't it? We did most of our recce on Thursday. All the stages on Friday were in the evening, so we had a few hours of recce in the morning to do the Saturday stages. At that point, it had started snowing. The main roads actually became less predictable than the recce roads. Team Subaru actually put themselves off the roads during recce, and we came awfully close turning off the main road and almost put the Volvo in the snowbank before even getting onto an unplowed gravel road. So we started Park Expose, which was perversely held down in Lewiston, even though we were racing much closer to Atlanta. And then on Saturday, of course, we had Park in Atlanta, even though we were racing much closer to Lewiston. Kind of a little bit backwards, but it had something to do with availability of the spaces they were using. In either case, Park Expose by this point was bitter cold. It had been just below freezing for the snow to come through, so it was nice sticky snow. It was great for the roads, it turned out. But the temperature dropped throughout the evening, and it was single digits by the time we made it to Park and negative numbers by the time we woke up. And I think for 24 solid hours I didn't feel my toes. The electronics were problematic. Our camera just refused to record all evening, even after we tried warming it up. Some of the media guys were complaining that their flashes that they had set up for these night stages just wouldn't sync to the cameras or wouldn't fire when they were synced to the cameras. Nick, the GoPro guy, had set up a live streaming thing from his car with complete to one of the satellite internet antennas and everything, and he was having problems getting that going, so I don't know if he ever fixed that and got footage or got partial footage or something. But in any case, electronics were a huge issue that night. Actually, a lot of things were a huge issue. And one thing, we think of rally as being extremely unpredictable, but I think this might actually be a new one. Somebody apparently slipped in Park Expose and came down hard enough that they snapped my mirror right off, right through the bolt. Not the plastic part, the metal part. So because of the camera issues, we have zero in-car footage from the night stages, which is a shame because all 8 stages of Friday were night stages, so lots of driving in the dark. The only media we got was what the media guys gave us, which is 2 views of one corner and 1 view of this other corner where we came to a complete stop, which was mildly embarrassing, but probably happened to a lot of people because you just can't maintain the momentum swing on ice. In general, the first day went, I think, reasonably well. We did tap a couple of snowbanks, but did not get stuck. There was one place where I was worried we were going to get stuck because we did go up into the snowbank, and when I tried to drive forward, we couldn't, but I was able to put it in reverse, get off the snowbank, and then go ahead. Stage 8 got canceled, I think also for a, at least in my experience, novel reason, because a side-by-side made it onto the race course. So they had to cancel that because of intrusions onto the stage, or at least for those of us a certain distance behind. But we made it through the night without getting stuck. I think we passed 3 people who did get stuck, although I think all 3 of them ended up starting the next morning, so no permanent damage there. We got passed twice by one of the cars that was in open 2-wheel drive and discovered just how blinding stage rally lights can be when you're very close on somebody's heels and they're kicking up all sorts of snow in front of you. So had to drive with them off until they got far enough ahead that we could no longer see their snow. If you look at the 3 stages that we did run twice, apparently the conditions must have been getting worse from the first running to the second running because the other L2 regional cars were generally losing time from their first running to their second. But if you looked at our times, we were actually picking up a couple of seconds, and I think part of that was just I was going so slow that, yeah, I was going really slow. So there was nowhere to go but up. So we started day 2 of Sno Drift, nominally 3rd in class. That's based on a time that was later adjusted for a couple of minutes that one of the other competitors had to stop for a car that was stopped. But yeah, it looked like we were 3rd in class. Turns out we were probably actually 4th. On the whole, we were mostly doing okay. Stayed mostly on the road, made contact with a couple of snowbanks here and there, but it was gentle and we were able to get back off.
Oh, that's all. Oh. 150. Crest into 6+ right.
Probably the most concerning thing that happened was I cooked a little corner just a little too hot, went a little bit too wide, and got pulled into a little bit of slush that actually threatened to pull us further off. But we had just enough momentum that I was able to keep it on and pull back onto the road without overcorrecting and spinning the car, because that would have been bad. We did get past at least once, although after that pass, the turns got a little bit tighter and we managed to more or less keep up with them. And then the final stage. This is what got us at Over Mountain.
3, 2, 1, go. 50, 3 minus left. 50, crest, 100.
So all I had to do was keep it on the road. I really considered dropping to transit speeds, but I decided even though I wasn't going to push it, I was at least going to go and drive a little bit fast. Why be slow? That's not the point, right? Everything was going well, making the turns, staying on the road, staying out of the snowbanks. And I don't know if I just got overconfident or if there was legitimately a slick spot, but in the last couple of 100 yards, oh my god.
50, 6 right over finish. Okay. That all got real confusing back through there. Nice job, buddy. Fuck yes.
Alright. We did it.
We got that fucking monkey off our back. Oh my god, that feels so fucking good right now.
Alright.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah, I feel really good right now.
I did not jinx this by getting my happy fucking birthday.
Thank you.
This is where I'm going to point out that the motion smoothing aspects of the camera a lot of times make the car's motions look a lot less violent than they feel when you're actually inside the car. I really thought we were heading for the wall. Oh god. Not even, like, within sight of the finish. We were almost there, almost there! Oh. But yeah, I recovered. Thank God. Conditions on that second running, 15, were definitely worse than the first running when it was stage 11. Again, everybody in the L2 regional class lost time from 11 to 15. Once again, though, we lost the least. Lost 28 seconds. Everybody else lost 52 seconds or more than a minute. So, could have been worse. Of course, everybody on the team actually did finish. Sean kicked ass, ended up second overall with an outright win in the power stage, so go Sean. But at least we got to finish a rally, so overall this is a solid start to the year. Our next rally will be, God, forever from now. We have to wait like months just because the budget has been bad this year. So it's going to be SO04, so we get to take another crack at that in the Fiesta, and hopefully it'll go a little bit better this time. But at least we finished this one. Oh, excuse me. Undoubtedly, I will have forgotten something, and I will have to go back and add more stuff.